Hi there guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create an app that will allow you to hide the picture from your gallery into another app, and this app will use SQLite as a database, and it will load the picture into the SQLite using base64 image. I'm going to use React Native for this tutorial. I'm also going to use Expo for wrapping around things, and I'm going to use their example that they use for SQLite to do a to-do list. So I'm going to use this example, but I'm going to just use it for loading the images from our gallery into SQLite. So that means you will be able to hide your picture into this app, and if you want, you can delete them from your gallery and they will still be in the SQLite. This won't be just one video. I'll try to make like lots of videos, and the final product I'd like to have something similar to this, but instead of having a calculator we can have an alarm view, or we can have this, depends from the views and from you guys, and yeah, I can quickly show you how the app works. So for now I've already done it, but I'm gonna show you later guys how I did it step by step. Here you just have an add button that will open your gallery. You go through your pictures, and let's go for this picture. You choose, and yeah, it's right here. Yeah, and I'm gonna walk you through all the code, like step by step. Even though like some of the things are taken from this GitHub repo, I'll put the link on the description if you want. I'll also put the link on the description for Expo if you want to use it. It's a really great tool. If you don't have Expo, I'm using Expo to generate a template project for the app. So if you want, you can download Expo XDE. So if you have a Mac, Windows, Linux, I'm using a Mac at the moment, and to create a project, I'm using a template project, which is the tab. As you can see here, it does have the home and some other buttons for other pages. It's really useful. It just saves a lot of time. And yeah, as a code editor, I'm using Visual Studio. So guys, once you've done your template using the Expo, and your template will look like something like this, you can start to open your project into Visual Studio Code. I'm using Visual Studio Code, and as you can see here, this is all my folder and files. You can navigate to your screens and go to your home screen, which is literally this one, which is all the code for this. We won't need anything for this apart of the tab menus, so you can start to get rid of stuff. What is it? So start with scroll view. Yeah, don't need everything inside the scroll view. I don't need all this stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Right, so the first thing that we need to do from our roadmap is to pick the image from the gallery. So Expo does something really nice for us, and you can find the example here on the documentation. So what we can do, copy the entire thing, and paste it here. That's it. Simple. Right, so let's try to check on Expo if it does really work. It should work. It shouldn't give you any error. So what we're doing here, we're using image picker from Expo. We get in the state, which is at the moment is null, it's empty. So now we have a new object that will contain an image, and it will equal to the state. So we're setting up the image, it will go to the state of class. So then we have a view that takes a button, and also here we rendering the image. So the image will take the source from the state of the image. We'll take the style, the width, it will be 200, and the height it will be 200. And here we have a method for the pick image, which you can allow the editing. As you can see here is true. The aspect is 4 and 3. You can change if you want, like later. And the console log just for us. Sorry, if it's not cancelled, then we set the URI of the image to the state. That's it. Then after we can add a new function to handle the exception if you just accidentally exit halfway through your picking the image. But now let's focus on this and get this working. Let's see how we're getting on here. Right. So pick an image from my camera raw. Let's click on this. This one. Right. There's a really nice dish of spaghetti and vongole here. So let's pick this. Right. So we render our first image using Expo and React Native. And yeah, that's it for now. On the next one, we will add the picked image. So this image that we just picked, we will then add into SQLite, which is pretty straightforward. So the way we're going to store the image is using SQLite. And as you can see from the documentation of SQLite in Expo, they making an example of a to-do list. They also have it into GitHub, so an example for the to-do list. So in this app, what they're doing is they're taking the input from the user into a text field, and when you enter it, it will be stored into SQLite. When you double click, you will delete this to-do list. We're not gonna worry about this because we're not gonna delete at the moment. We just want to add the image into the database. So what we're gonna do, once we pick the image from the gallery, we're gonna take the base64 code and we're gonna store it into SQLite. And then we can create another method that will render all the image from SQLite into, I don't know, a gallery or something like this. So let's get started and let's try to create the method. And let's try to go here, see how they did it. Right. Give me a sec. Main.js. Right. So here's how they do it. What we really care about is to get the add method. So you can, I'll provide this link in the description so you can copy and paste it. So all we want to do is we want to add into SQL Right. This is not the right one. Alright, cool. So we're gonna add the method here. Don't really want us. Right. So we want to also have, so here what they're doing, they're having a class for items. So the item is each word that the user enter, and we're gonna copy the class and we're gonna use it here, right at the bottom. Right. Here. Oh, you know what? I will use it here. Right. So we have this class items, which will contain all the items that the user will enter. So for us, it will contain every image that we will enter into the app. So another thing that we need from here, we need to have the constant of our database, which is SQLite. So right, so this is the name of your database, and it's SQLite. Right. Another thing that we have that we need to import is we need to import SQLite from Expo. Right. And we also need to, right, let's also import Expo. Right. So we have Expo, we have this, we have the class for the items that will contain all our images. Right. What we can do, alright, there's another method that we also going to need, which is did mount, which will be contained into our class, which this will create a table if it's not exister with the ID integer and a primary key, and it's not null, and done in with the value text. Right, something else that we're going to need. Nope. All we're going to need later is items. Right, items will be, so let's comment out this for now, and let's put the items here, but you're not going to need all this. Right, so let's get started. So we have the constant for the database, then we open the class, and we want to have the class that contains the items. Then we have did mounter, component did mounter, which will update all the components. Now once we render, we can say the constant items, it will be equal to the state. If it's not null or equal to 0, return null. And then we can create a items map, which is already here, with the ID, done, and a value. We don't really need done, but we can delete this if you guys want. And then we can have the touchable opacity. We can have the key for the ID, as we need to go through the mapper, but we're not going to need the style. We don't need to the on press, and we don't need this. Touchable opacity, we need the key. Then we need to have the image, which we can just like copy and paste from here. So the image, yeah, we forgot to close it. Right. Close it. So then between each image, we would like to have kind of like a break in HTML, like a divider. I really like what they do with React Native Elements, which is a module that we're going to install. Really cool. If you guys want, I can React Native Elements, just to make our life a little bit easier. We're going to, yeah, it's this one. You can also use React Native Base, but I'm really comfortable with this, and yeah. Oh, sorry, not this one. Right, so we can use, what is it? Yeah, divider. But I would like to use this one, as I would like to divide between each image. Let's try to put, I have any backgrounds, as I just want to have it transparent. Right. So I've added the divider, but I need to install the, so you need to do npm install React Native Elements. So let's do this. Let's cd to Expo tutorials, cd to hide picture, and let's do npm install React Native Elements. Right, once you installed React Native Elements, all you can do, you can import right, so then you can just import it in your project. So I don't want to import the button, I just want to import the divider. So once I got the divider on, let's try to test it. But first of all, let's see, update is here. So I don't need to modify anything on the update. So guys, once you got your divider in your project, what we can do, we can start to focus on the functionality of the SQLite. So what we can do, we can here we should add another state, another variable that we're going to use. That will be text. Let's call it text, and this variable will contain the base 64 text of each image that we're going to pick from our library, and we also need to add a couple of things when we pick the image. So in the pick image, what we want to do, so yeah, we can keep this here, yes. So here we say if the result is not cancelled, we can also try to put a train catcher, because we need to do an exception. Right, so here. Right, this is just for debugging. And what we need to do, we need to create a new object that will contain, let's say, I don't know, message for the image, message image. Right, this message, it will be an object that will be contained in a base64, and it will have data and image and PNG, and it will be a base 64, and then we do comma space, and this will take the result here dot base 64. So what I'm saying here, to render, in order to render the base 64 into an image, we need to add this bit before the base 64, and then what we can do, we can just set the state of the image for the result URI. And the last thing that we need to do, we also need to add into SQLite, and let's put some comment here, image type base 64. So no, base 60 URI, yeah. So to add into SQLite, we can use the method that we created before, that we copied before, that is add. We can do add, oh sorry, it's not gonna work like this. So it will be this dot add, and what we need to add is the result dot URI. Right. And then we need to set back the state to text will be equal to null. So text. Right. So text to null, and yeah, that should be it. Yeah, it should be it. Console log the error. I don't really need this here. And oh yeah, the other thing that's really important, we need to enable the base64 on the pick image. So if you don't do this, it won't work. Alright. So we need to have something else, I think. So then we have the component.mount, which will be here. Yeah. And then we also have a component amount. Let's have this here, so just to make things nice and tidy. So render, what we want to have on the render, what we do, we want to have the items, and one more thing that we want to have is we want to have a button that will be able to take the pick image. So let's use a button that on press, what we do, it will be, let's see, on press it will be this dot pick image, and we also want to bind it. And yeah, give me a second. Oh, sorry, got this, then I got title, add, what's wrong with this? Oh, put it here, sorry, my bad. Alright, let's try this. Don't really need this at the moment. Let's clean up a little bit while it's loading. Well, how much is it? Oh, 40%. Okay. Right, so we add in here, we get the base64, we allow the base64, we set the state, we have the adding to SQLite. As soon as the page is loaded, we create a table if it doesn't exist. Alright, so let's try to do it. So here's our button add. Let's try to click on it. Right, doesn't work. Why doesn't work? Right, something is not right. Right, I think, pick an image. I don't need to bind it. Why am I bind it? This. Right, let's try. So here's my really nice background. Let's choose it. Right. I'm not seeing my pictures somehow. Right, let me check. So items. Right, let's try again. Oh, alright, here we go. So there's the picture that I picked. So let's try with another picture. to see if it works. So let's try to add this picture. Let's try here. So it's allowed editing if you want to edit. There's a 4:3 aspect, so you can cancel if you want down here, or you can, let's try to choose this image. Try to choose, and okay, why it didn't work? Let's try again. Right, it didn't work. Let's try again. So guys, after 40 minutes of debugging, I finally found the bug, and I didn't follow properly the tutorial from Expo. So on the items, when I've imported the class, I forgot to add those two things, so the ref and the done, because when above here, when they go through the array, they select all the items where the done is equal to null, so where the done is 0. And you can see where you can also say here, this is an if statement. So if it's 1, you display it, if not, you don't. And yeah, so just to follow this tutorial and to get it done, I just added here, and I've also did add this method that they also use for the to-do like list. We're going to clean up the code like later on in another episode, but so far we just wanted to get it done, so I just did it like this. I know it's not the best way, but for now it does the job, so we can just leave it, and in a later episode we can clean it up. And yeah, so let's go ahead and see how it works. So you can see I tried already one picture. Yeah, so you can try to add this as well. So yeah, here we go, it's working. So yeah, all the other stuff is the same. In another episode we will try also to add the passcode to the app, so whenever you open the app you will see this passcode, and you will have to enter the right passcode. And in a later episode we can also add this button here on the header. Then let's look at the roadmap, and the roadmap is just to add an iOS alarm view to cover the app. So this app will look really similar to this, and we can also take a look at this app that they also use a calculator to hide the image. So we can also try to get just like a reference from this app to create our app as well. If you want, we can do a calculator, but for now we did an alarm, so we can go ahead and do it. And yeah, just tell me what you think, and if you like the video, please like and subscribe, so I can keep going on with my channel and you can keep support me. And yeah, just thank you so much.